You look tired as fuck right now.
Yeah, I'm from the first show I'm 7 weeks out and then 8 weeks out. So I
That's right. You
usually
gotta qualify, right?
yeah. Usually I mean I guess it changes a little bit each prep, but as you know, like the initial weight actually comes off pretty, though not easily because the calories have to get low, but fast, right? Like that
Yeah,
first 30 pounds comes off of me quick. It's really the last 5, 10 pounds
yeah,
that makes or break, right? So it's like that's the hardest to get rid of, but also what has to be done to take it off sometimes renders the physique kind of flat and fucked up looking, you
yeah,
know. So that's the tricky part, but it's still better to get in shape faster and figure out the best way to not lose muscle at the end. You know, it's still the better way to go
yeah.
rather than holding off and try to do the last minute, which is what I did for the first, like the first 5 years of me competing. I would hold off to the end and then try to get it off quick, you know, so I wouldn't lose muscle. But it's just one of those things. It's just always figuring out your body, and then your body changes again, and then you figure it out, you know. But
How much are you right now? Like 265 still?
right now 260, right now 260. But actually, I don't know if you don't, you're not on Instagram like a ton, so I don't know exactly what
I get
you.
on like two, three times. I usually go through once a day, and I have been slacking on this, but I usually go through once a day to go through my DMs and my notifications.
Yeah,
But if it don't like pop up initially right on my explore page, I don't spend a whole lot of time on it.
yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I mean, so this is the most. It's probably the most recent. This is one day ago. So, first of all, I wanted to ask you about the front relaxed. I've been trying it this. I think we've spoken about it a little bit in the past, but this way I don't look as wide, but like more detailed, I guess. And then this way it's like if I look bigger, but I don't
I
know. They
actually
both.
kind of like it when your abs are crunched down.
You know what? That's what. Here's the thing about bodybuilding, right? Because you know there's so many opinions, and then you respect. You know, you respect a handful of people, right? So if there's 10 people you respect, and five of them say this, five of them say this, you're like, damn, you know, because there is a preference.
You know what I would
But
do?
what's that?
I would wait till you're like 2 weeks out and you're, looking your best.
Uh-huh.
And I would actually, and usually, I mean, obviously, I haven't competed in 10 years. Judges really didn't answer emails 10 years ago. But
Mm-hmm.
now, between Tyler, Steve, Sandy, everyone is actually responsive to the competitors and the athletes. I
Mm-hmm.
would just take a picture of both
Mm-hmm.
because chances are you're going to be in front of Tyler, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I would just send it to him and say, hey, just looking for a little feedback on this particular pose. How do you like it? Because ultimately he's the one going to be judging you probably, or whoever the head judge is. Sandy used to be the head judge out there, but maybe she's not doing it anymore. Tyler's taking a lot of the big shows.
Wow, that's a great idea. I mean, the only opinion that really matters would be
Yeah, yeah,
would be the judge. Yeah,
yeah. I
but
mean, other athletes, friends, family, coaches, it doesn't matter other than the person that's going to be scoring you that day. So I mean, I would hit him up and say, how do you think I should hit this on stage? What do you think looks best?
this is true. Well, because we all have preferences, it doesn't mean it's better, right? The judges is really the standard. So as far as us, what we like isn't necessarily what the judges like. Because okay, so from my perspective, I prefer when most people who have a good waist, I prefer when they pull into the vacuum in the front
Yeah.
relaxed. Just on my physique, honestly, I think I like this one better, honestly, as well.
A few people can pull it off because if you ever look back at Victor Martinez, the way he used to pose,
Yeah.
like Victor was obviously incredibly big. He had a good midsection, good waistline, but he actually crunched down on his abs like this here. I mean, I think Dexter would crunch on his abs too a little bit in the front flex.
Slight, yeah, slightly. Like
Yeah,
Brandon
he
Covey does
wasn't
it
like
slightly.
fully down. Like he was not like standing, like he wasn't lifting his chest up on it.
No, yeah.
I
Those
mean,
guys did it. Mhm.
because your abs look the way they look, I'd be cool running it like this here.
Yeah. I'm gonna try it out. I mean, you could do both too. You could pull up and then pull down, but uh, yeah, this one has been my favorite one so far. But
I would wait a little bit closer and I would just email Tyler. Or
yeah,
I don't know if the proper way to email him, DM him on Instagram. I don't know, but I'd probably start with the email. It's more professional.
yeah. See what he says. Okay, so this was like a day or two ago. This was about 260 as well. So um, I would say probably the best I've looked at the weight, but you're also more subjective. You'll be more objective than me.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like 8 to 10 more pounds,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah. The as long as as long as the muscle stays, which what I'm starting to see is that it's just a matter of recovery. Oh, he saw the picture. Let's go. It's just a matter of recovery for me. It's like um I don't like I would never want to tell you how bad I feel just because it's like it doesn't matter. It's like I don't want you to factor it in, even though you're supposed to. I don't want you to be like, oh, if he's feeling that shitty, I should give him more food. Even though that's probably the right thing to do, but I was just so obsessed with being in shape, So I would always just, I think once I told you, bro, I couldn't hack squat more than like 2 plates today, and you're like, holy shit, that's not good,
Yeah.
because you're gonna lose tissue. In my head, I'm just like, if I get more food, I'm just never gonna lose the weight. Which weight and body fat are two different things. Oh, I lost the weight, all right, but it's
Not
sometimes it's the
right.
wrong. Exactly. So now, honestly, if I feel like so fucked up and I have a terrible workout, I'll take a day off. I'll just take a day off straight up, and then I'm like, okay, I feel better now, and just not running myself to the point. Just because you can tolerate a lot doesn't mean you always should. You know.
You said you're 7 more weeks, right?
Yeah, from the first show.
That should be
Um,
plenty of time.
for the first show, I don't plan on like cutting water or anything, because the USA is 1 week after, so
Yeah.
I won't,
Well,
I don't want to dehydrate and then rebound, so I would rather not. It doesn't. I don't think I'll need to cut water. So
I'll back people down. Like, I've had a few clients this year so far that's wanted to do multiple shows. The ones that are back to back, I'll scale the water back, but I definitely don't use any diuretics at all on the first show.
exactly,
Turns
yeah,
out it worked out good because we nailed the look without the diuretics. So I was like, moving into the next show, I was like, actually, I don't want to change the peak week. We won the first show. Let's go right on and win the next one. Same way, same process. I mean, it's not broken. Don't fix it.
that's another factor that when you get flat enough, sometimes you look watery, so
Yeah.
it confuses you. So in my head, so full disclosure, you usually I think you told me to take a quarter diazide, and I took a half. So usually whatever diuretics you give me, sometimes I'll take a extra quarter onto it, just because I'm looking at myself like I'm holding water. When the truth is that I'm honestly just flat.
Yeah, because when the muscle's not pressing against the skin, it just kind of creates more of a smoother look. And then people get in their head, they think it's fat and it's water, and it's not. Now, 99% of the people still do have fat and water. They just think they can take a diuretic and fix it. But when you're like super lean and then you get flat on top of that, that's exactly what it's going to be like. You're going to appear out of shape when in reality you're not. Because we've all seen guys do a show and then like the following weekend, they look like a completely different human being because they
Yeah,
figured it out after the first one.
exactly. So
Like they didn't get lean in 1 week. They just figured out how to peak correctly.
exactly, so more. I mean, more isn't better, but I got to be honest. Somebody like me, you gotta just fail until you get it, because like as much as I respect you, I'm gonna be in my head so bad that I'm gonna overdo it. So to the point that there's been times that I felt like I was wasting your time. I'm like, bro, this guy is coaching me, but I'm still doing too much shit. Like to the point that I feel like you could kind of notice. Like if I'll drop like 8 pounds randomly, and you'd be like, "That's a big drop," and you won't say anything, but more than likely, I did more cardio than you gave me, right? So you can pick it up, but you're not the type because it can ruin a coach-client relationship if you can call them out, but sometimes the way you do it, when somebody's in that fucked up mind state, it can create issues. Like, hey, bro, I know you're doing more. Don't do it, right? I've done this in the past, and me and my clients kind of butt heads, and it went left. Sometimes just note it, be like, I know this guy's doing too much, or I know this guy's cheating. If it continues too much, then you might have to say it. But if not, sometimes you might have to just take the note and just be like, okay, I know this guy's doing more, so let me just factor that in,
Yeah.
Or even with the diuretics, it'll be like 2 days out and I'll drop like 5 pounds. And I know you're like, okay, this guy probably took
there's different sides of that spectrum. I remember Chris Aceto one time, he was referring to Cedric. And he said this on Dave Palumbo's show. Or this has been probably close to a decade ago as well. But he said, whatever I want Cedric to eat, I tell him half. Because I know everything I tell him, he doubles.
There you go, yeah. There you go.
He's like, if I tell him, I'll tell him I want him to eat a half a cup of rice because I know he's going to eat a whole cup.
Man, yeah. You kind of learn your clients that way. I mean, I've been that way since day one, man. Since John Regan, he'll say 45 minutes cardio, I'll do an hour. I have this fear of not being in shape, but then even when I'm in shape, I don't look like I'm in shape because it's the opposite end of a spectrum. You go too far down, you don't look good.
Yeah,
bro. No. It's one of those things. I don't want to say I'm uncoachable, but part of me is like I'm just. I think you have to become coachable. If you're like that, I think you have to take some time to become more coachable to be a better bodybuilder here. Would you agree with that? Some people need to find.
Correct.
Yeah.
And some people find that, sooner rather than later, it varies from one person to the next.
Yeah.
But to be fair about it, I don't think as I got further into my career, in the beginning of my career, like I don't want to say it wasn't really a career in 2010 or 11. It became a career when I turned pro because that's when I started making money out of it. But up until probably when I did my first prep myself and I nailed it, everything after that, I kind of like had this, I don't know, like Superman complex where I was like, I fucking know everything. Like, and I wasn't coachable at that point. Granted, I wasn't looking for a coach either. I straight up did everything. And then, when I turned things back over to Matt in 2016, it almost solidified to me that like, you know how to do this better than he can.
Well, you had an extreme metabolism. I think people with extreme body types do well coaching themselves, right? Because let's say I can never work with a coach that I haven't worked before. Well, you're the only coach alive now, because John Regan passed away, right?
Oh yeah, so, that's right. He passed away.
There's no way I could work with a new coach because what's going to happen, right? They're going to look at me. This guy's a big dude. He's 6 foot. He's 300 pounds. Give him food. And I'm like, boss man, I understand what you're thinking, but me, I can't diet on 5,000 calories. They'll be like, trust me, I'm going to build your metabolism. Which is true. You do have to build you've done that too, but the food still has to get low. It is what it is. They're not going to believe it. It's going to take them like 2 years to believe it. And that's 2 years wasted. Yeah. Right. So same for you. I mean, a coach might say, let's give you an hour of cardio and let's cut your food down. You're like, bro, trust me. I need all this food. They might think you're just hungry. No, you don't need all that food. Cut it down. And you're like, trust me. So you can't just go work with any coach when you have a body type like yours neither. Right. So it's like,
correct. Yeah. And like over my years, like when I did, I'm not going to say which show, but I did a show and I was consistently dropping like 5 and 6 pounds a week. And when I would get my plan, I'm like, fuck man, more cardio and less food when I'm dropping 5 and 6 pounds a week. Like this don't seem right to me. Yeah. Like, and there was no like refeed. Well, there was a few refeeds involved, but the thing is like, if you give me 200 grams of carbs, that is like pissing in the wind to me. It does nothing to me at all. Like I can eat 200 grams of carbs for every meal for 3 days straight. and still not be filled back out. So when you bury me into that much of a deficit, it don't work. But then they just like, oh, yep, keep going, check in Friday. I'm like, fuck. I was like, be down. I'm gonna drop a weight class if I keep going like this.
Exactly. I think Aceto said it right, because people ask Aceto like, "What's your method?" And it's like it doesn't work that way. He's like, you don't try to fit people into your program, right? Let's say Milos. He's not like that with everybody per se, but he has a program in his mind that he wants you to do, right, with insulin and things, and then he'll go around that. If it doesn't work, then he'll try something different. Whereas I think guys like you or Aceto or Blue, you don't have any kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Like you don't have you don't throw like an idea on a body, right? Like when I first came to you and I sent you what I'm doing, you made really small changes because it's like, well, if he's 280 and he's eating this little food, I mean, I'm not going to all of a sudden double his food, which is what most coaches do. Right?
Yeah.
I've seen like Chad do it to people, like where they'll come to him and he'll double the food because he's like, you got to eat more. It's like to go from 8 ounces of protein to 14 ounces of protein.
I don't do that. It's way too much.
You really didn't even change. Like you might have maybe added or subtracted some fats or something, and then see how my body changes. And then knowing me, I gained weight. Right, so it's like, okay, well, you can't wait on that.
Well, it's very subjective. Like I get inquiries from people all the time, and the question, I don't want to say it's a boring or an old question, but I can always tell it's a rookie question when I get this. And it's someone who has probably never been coached before, or at least not the right way. Because if I get something like people like, hey man, or do you have spots open? I'm like, yep. Let me know if you have any questions. And they're like, well, what's your style? And I'm like, like I don't want to be an asshole because like they genuinely don't know. But the thing is, there is no style because, and I explained this to them, and it does get old repeating myself, but what works for one is not going to work for the next. So there's no style. We're going to start here, and then I'm going to make my changes based on what I see in the feedback that you're giving me. So like you may be a very carb tolerant guy, you may not be very carb tolerant. And like I like to start with high training volume, but I got a lot of people, I'll say, hey, give it 2 weeks. If it's too much, let me know. I'll need your biofeedback. And then I'll have some people, even though it was not the way I trained, I'll have them down on one working set per exercise because their lifestyle's different, their age, what they're taking, how hard I'm having to pound them on contest prep. All those goes into like the training aspect of it. So like I don't have a method. It's like I don't say I'm high volume, low fat, XYZ, because it all varies. And then I'll have people that's, will want to have like phone consults and they're like, what do you think I should take? And I'm like, first off, like I don't know you. And you're asking me questions that like a client would pay for. So therefore I'm evaluating your physique. I'm doing this for free. So I don't know who got all like the free phone consults because I tried it myself at one point. Basically getting people like give them like 15 minutes to get to know you. And that was the idea. It's like, I want you to get to know, you're going to see me live in person. You see that it's me behind the keyboard, it's me behind the phone. We go over stuff, but that's not how the conversation goes. It's always like, well, I'm 200 pounds and I came off this and what should I do next? And I'm like, man, this is not really what this conversation was supposed to be, because it's almost like they kind of pry to get as much as they can without actually hiring someone. But at the same time, there is the ones out there that genuinely just want to know a style, and there is no style.
They don't, they just don't get it. It's so a few things though. One thing I have, okay, so I didn't believe in the phone consults because at one point in my head, I'm like, I'm looking at it from my point of view. I'm like, as a bodybuilder, if you want to hire a coach. Okay, I remember seeing me wanting to hire you. I wanted to hire you before you even started talking to the camera. Just seeing you coaching yourself and how you looked and you being younger, I'm like, oh, one day I'm going to work with him. I hit you up at the time. You weren't really training clients, right? I didn't need a fucking consultation. Like, right?
Yeah.
You working with the coaches you worked with, you don't need a consultation. You know who you know how they conduct themselves. You know who you want to work with. So in my head, I'm like, if you need a consultation, then you're not serious. That's how I felt before.
You're probably not ready to actually do this at that point.
Exactly.
You know, it's like when
Now,
people ask you about style. I mean, I'll use just because these two names are very well known, but like when you compare like Phil Heath and Derek Lunsford, and the only reason I know this is like Derek will post his diet from time to time, and he's obviously a higher carb guy. He can get in shape on higher carbs. Well, being around Hani, I know for a fact Phil didn't get that luxury. Phil had to actually do like 2 hours of cardio on pretty much no carbs to get where he's at. But all I'm saying is you have two Mr. Olympias coached by the same guy by completely different methods.
exactly. Yeah. So but yeah. To go back to the point, now I realize that all of our clients aren't going to be like us. So I'm starting to understand that if you're open to coaching a lot of people and you're not just specifically going to coach like hardcore bodybuilders, you have to understand that people are going to be different. They're not going to have the experience and knowledge you have, right? And you can't expect them to. So things like that, questions that honestly we find kind of ridiculous. We used to ask them too at one point, even if we can't remember it. At 18 years old, we used to be like, "Hey, what's the best stack?" It's stupid shit. But
Well, I remember like I always like there's certain questions I'll get and I'm like I don't ever say that to them because I'm thinking because of what you just said. Because I remember there was a time in my life I didn't know. Like I didn't know the answer to these questions. They were not I couldn't just Google it or whatever.
yeah,
And I remember I'm going to throw somebody, a very well-known person, under the bus on this. But I remember when I was young, I was about 18, 19 range. I didn't have a whole lot of money at the time. And this is when the bodybuilding.com forum boards was like your source of information, that and the muscular development forum boards.
yeah.
And I remember Lane Norton was on them, and he was very active on the boards, and he was coaching online. This was 2006, 2007, 2008 range.
Damn.
And I had never had a coach before. And I remember asking him, I don't know what the question is. I don't even have the passwords to that account anymore. Otherwise, I would go back and look at it.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember he was kind of snarky about it. And I was like, wow, dude, like, okay, I know who I'm not going to work with now.
Yeah.
I've never had a positive thing to say about Lane after that. He's an incredibly smart human being. I guess that's positive. Personality-wise, he's a dud.
Well, that's the thing. If it kind of ruins the effect when you're smart, but you're kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Almost condescending, or you think you're like
That's how I took it.
You know what I'm saying?
I felt like he was kind of like just talking down on me.
That's what I'm saying.
Because I didn't know the answers, like the basic, simple stuff. But I'm a kid, I'm 18 years old, and I'm willing to pay for it. Probably there's no way I would have been able to afford it, but I didn't know his prices either.
There's a fine line, right? I don't know any of these people personally, but just from what I see and hear around the industry, right? You have like a John Jewett, super smart, might be one of the smartest people in the industry, but super humble, and he comes across so well. And he's willing to dumb it down for you to get it. He doesn't try to, he's never condescending. He never thinks he knows better than everybody else, even though he knows better than a lot of people. And then you have somebody like BPAC, Ben
Polsky, yeah.
Bukowski, yeah. He hasn't made content in a while, but from what I remember, he was extremely condescending to everybody. Like to the point, I'm like,
he's one of those guys. Like he is. This is what I gather from the guy. Like from my own personal knowledge of him, he is super smart. Like he is almost like autistic level smart, like where they can focus on one thing and be really good at it. And that's where Ben's at. But however, his approach and the way that he comes off to people is like he's better than you. And that's not okay. Now, that being said, I think Ben had, and this is all just my opinion on this, but I think Ben had a very I don't know the word I'm looking for, but I'll explain the story. So I have a friend of mine. She works in Lexington, Kentucky at a restaurant, and it was at the horse park. And I don't know if you know Kentucky's known for horses.
Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
So she's right there where they race horses, like a high dollar restaurant, like type that you're going in and spending $100 a person on or more, which to me, that's high dollar. Some people probably think that's a normal daily date. I don't spend $100 a person when I go out to eat. So that's where she works at. And there was a crowd in there. And turns out that crowd was actually Ben's, at least two of them. His mom and dad was there. They were actually, I guess they were in town for the races. I'm not sure what they were there for. So she works out, and it's very obvious that she does. She's not out of shape by any means. And I guess one of them, started talking to her about it. And she noticed, like, they put Ben on, like, fucking cloud nine. So chances are Ben is probably, from what she told me on that conversation versus how he acts sometimes, his parents probably gave him this
Complex.
like, I'm better than you attitude, like he probably feels like he is because it was probably embraced in him at a young age.
See,
Like he's
that's
elite, like high class, upper class. And just for the record, Ben's never said anything negative towards me or about me that I'm aware of. It's like I can't hate on the guy at all. I'm just making observations on what I've seen. And like when I see comments from him and I watch videos, I'm like, yeah, that's smart, but it's also kind of a dick the way you worded that.
See, if you do that as parents, there's pros and cons. People like that do become very successful because of the confidence, right?
Yeah.
Only thing I could relate it to is a funny comparison, but I kind of relate it to dogs. Like when I'm building a dog's confidence, it's like if you overtrain a dog, you kill their confidence levels, right? So they're not as capable. If you overbuild it, now they're super confident, but they think they're the fucking pack leader now. So now there's issues. Like that's the kind of dog that might bite that person, right? Right. So it's like, yeah, you can build your kid up to be like that, and they might be very successful, but they're not going to be very, very, very liked. So it's like, which is more important? Maybe a balance of that. Maybe a
Yeah, I think
balance of
there's got to
that.
be a middle ground. I mean, you got to be successful, but at the same time, I'd rather not walk around and the whole world think I'm an asshole.
Exactly. So yeah, but anyway, yeah, there's a way to do it and a way not to do it. I remember I couldn't get through his videos, even though they're so informative. It would just turn me off. He was talking about arm training. He would be like, "Oh, you guys are training arms wrong," and the pros. And I'm looking at his arms, and I'm like, I know there's a genetic factor there, but you can't really talk like that.
Yeah,
With all due respect, you can't talk to these other pros in that way where they all have better arms than you. It doesn't mean they know how to train. I'm not saying it means they know how to train arms better than you, but
yeah,
it's still right. Imagine me saying this is how to make money. All these rich people don't know what they're talking about. I might actually know what I'm talking about, but it's irrelevant because they're richer than me, so it doesn't come across well, you
yeah,
know.
exactly. I know exactly what you mean.
So I don't even know how we got to that topic, but we were talking about how do we get to a BPAC? Talking about coaching.
Yeah, we were just talking about coaching in general, and talking about John's like very humble about things, and then it turned into Ben.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So yeah, we were referring to like just because you're coaching people doesn't mean they're gonna have your knowledge. So you have to have some grace, and it's hard sometimes to have some grace when people ask questions like that. General questions. What's the best back exercise or something like that? It's like, well, there's no one exercise. It's not how it works.
Yeah,
Like you you have to be patient because if not, you wouldn't be able to answer any questions because all the questions seem obvious to us, right? Because we get that there's no set standard, right?
I usually tell like when somebody asks me a question based on the question itself. I can usually tell their level of like how long they've been in the game or like what level that they're on. Like if they ask me a question like literally like what's the best bicep movement, I'm like, well, you got a couple of planes of motion you can train in. I don't even get into that. I'm just like, you're gonna need more than one.
Yeah,
Like you're not gonna like because if there was a best movement, we would just do one movement for every body part and that would be it.
and go home, but it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I remember I used to see your volume and Juan Morel's volume, and I think Juan had you beat on volume, right?
Oh yeah. Juan trained twice a day. Him and Roman both trained twice a day. If I'm not mistaken, Juan at one point said he trained twice a day and did 2 cardios a day as well. I'm like,
Just to
dude,
eat that
like
food.
I'm just thinking out loud, even though he eats a lot of food, the actual physical fatigue that's going to go behind that. Because, dude, when Juan's like, he trains similar to like Branch Warren style, minus like fussing and stuff in the gym. So like he goes to the gym and he means fucking business. So like he's not going in, he's not moving small weights either. You know, he's moving big, heavy numbers, and he's doing that twice a day, years on end. It's like it looks cool on camera, but like now that I'm older, I'm like, oh man, I bet his joints feel like shit.
Oh, it's gonna wreck you. It's gonna wreck you. When you like, let's say you watch Dorian train or Marcus Real train, and they're going super heavy, but really controlled reps. It kind of looks dangerous to the eye, but that style of training is actually pretty fucking safe compared to like let's say Brandon Curry. You watch Brandon Curry train, it doesn't look super unsafe, but I think that style of training takes more of a toll when they're doing heavyweight ballistic form and a really high volume and high frequency as well. I think that takes more of a toll than low frequency, perfect, right? So basically like Dorian style training or Marcus Rule style training, I think takes less of a toll on your body than like Ronnie Coleman or obviously Branch Warren, right? I think more reps with that heavyweight and the ballisticness is really what burns you the fuck out, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't say just for myself. The only reason I did the volume I did was because it was like I could just see myself growing. Like it was like a daily thing. Mm-hmm. And then I went maybe 6 months on like lower volume, and I progressed not at the same rate that I was when I was at higher volume. Like I didn't want to give it like 2 or 3 weeks because, you know, not what's the most that's going to happen in 2 to 3 weeks? You know, you're not going to see any real muscle in 2 to 3 weeks. So I gave it a little bit of time, but I just didn't see, you know, the rapid progress that I was getting by doing the low volume. Now, that being said, my joints did pay for the higher volume that I did. Yeah. But I had, my volume was, listen, it wasn't as high as like Juan's or, you know, like Roman's or who else is known for like crazy high volume? Platts was known for stupid volume.
Jay did pretty high volume for certain.
Yeah, I would say me and Jay was similar with our volume.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Even Arnold, you know, like, yeah. It's kind of funny because the accent's like, you know, you got the bench press, the incline bench press, then you got the dumbbell press. Everybody him, right?
You got the flies and the incline flies.
Yeah, and the one thing about it that I wish Arnold wouldn't say this, he's like, and then you have to train to get the striations, so you do crossovers. I'm like, yeah, that ain't how you get striations. You know, you know, I don't argue that because, like, if you try to argue with Arnold, the whole world just throws everything they got at you because it's fucking Arnold.
Well, you can't really argue. I feel like anybody who competed before the 90s, you can't argue with them because they have certain beliefs that you can't get out of them. You're like, yeah, they say leg extensions gets you the cuts and the like cuts.
Yeah. I think Lee Haney used to have this phrase. He said, "Stimulate, not annihilate." Mm-hmm. So he was saying, just stimulate the muscle, but don't annihilate it. And I mean, now that's a very broad statement, but like stimulating it is, to me, you're going to have to take it to failure at some point. Like, I don't think that you're going to stimulate muscle growth by stopping 2, 3, 4 reps shy of failure. Now, the word annihilate, on the other hand, that means maybe you did 3, 5, 10, 12, 15 working sets, or maybe it means you're doing 70 working sets. When you're getting to that super high range, yeah, that's just annihilation. That's unnecessary.
Well, the issue with the term failure is failure seems to mean something very different to different people.
To everyone, yes.
Because you'll hear certain people like Jay say, I didn't train to failure, right? And then you watch it and you're going to be like, that's closer to failure than a lot of people who claim to train.
He was right. Like, there was multiple lists. Because remember the old school DVDs he used to have? Like, one was called From J to Z.
Yeah, I remember.
I still got that one.
Yeah.
But, like, you watch his training, like, even though, like, say he's doing, like, shoulder press, that last rep is like,
that's what I'm saying.
Coming up. I mean, yeah, he didn't go to full true failure like the way Dorian would, because Dorian's like, well, okay, I got it up. That's a full rep. Now I'm still going to, go back down on the eccentric and I'm going to push again, knowing he's not going to get it. Jay kind of stopped himself, like, okay, this was heavy as fuck. I know I'm not going to get another rep, so I'll stop here.
Okay, but you
I
see,
think that's fine.
But see, like technically, that is failure. Like that's what failure defines. Like Jay is more
like you said, that's failure is defined like depending on who you're asking the question. Because if you ask the Dorian about the question, he'll say there's like three or I don't know if it's three or if it's 4 points of failure. So you have like your stretch position, your fully contracted position, you have your eccentric and concentric. So just because you're able to get that last one up, he's not done there.
Yeah,
you're going to take a nice slow negative, and when you get to the bottom, you're now this is where full like I can't go anymore. That's failure to hit. So everyone's different on what they say on that.
Like today's standard is like they say when you can't complete another perfect rep is failure, right?
Yeah.
Now by Jay standards, then he's training. Jay just didn't go past failure.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, I don't think he could have done another clean rep. Could he have forced like some ugly reps or partial reps? Yes. But as much volume as he's doing, that's as much as failure as he needs to go, for me, I train lower volume, so I like to go to the point that I can't even do like a partial or a negative at all. But when my food is really high, I do bring my volume high, and then when I start doing that, Kane, no. When I start doing that, then I'll go more.
Get one of these.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Like I don't like the concept of it, but and this is brand new. The first day was like 2 days ago. But when he's wearing that collar, it's like he knows the collar's on. I have to behave now.
They do. They for sure do. Well, I don't know if you know. I got two more dogs. I got 2 XLs.
I knew you had one more. I knew you had 2 more.
Yeah, I got to. Well, first I got a little bit crazy. I started rescuing dogs, and then I had like at one point I had like 5, but one just got adopted yesterday, and the other got adopted a few weeks ago. So now I have 3. I have Kane, who's neutered, and then I have an XL male and XL female. I'm actually gonna breed them, which is a strange thing to say for somebody who's known for rescuing dogs. You usually don't have somebody rescue dogs and then breed a dog. But I feel like I've seen a lot. Dogs who are bred by good breeders are never dogs that end up in the shelter. First of all, if you buy a dog for $10K, you're not going to relinquish that dog to anybody. First of all. Second of all, I'm only talking about good breeders, not no backyard breeders in Compton. Not to call out Compton, but yeah, so real breeders with papers and everything, with the lineage and the whole 9. They're breeding dogs for temperament and everything. So like these are well-behaved dogs. They're protective of kids. They're just perfect dogs, right? These dogs are the dogs that everybody wants, who have no issues. Those are the dogs who don't end up in homes. So only those kind of breeders that makes sense to me, because I get it. Because when you breed those kind of dogs, you're good. The dogs that end up in a shelter are usually dogs who are just, street dogs, or dogs who are in and out of rescues, whose parents are strays, and so it's a balance. The good breeders aren't at fault as far as shelters and stuff like that. That's more so probably some backyard breeders, and just unfortunately, life isn't perfect. Things like this happen. People are going to go to jail. Dogs are going to go to shelters. It's not perfect. Things like that will happen. If you have animals, some will end up in the shelters. You never know.
I mean, people get sick, they fall ill. There's a lot of reasons why people, like, for example, I actually have another dog in my house now, too.
Oh, shit.
I've got another French Bulldog.
Oh, fire.
But I didn't get him, I didn't adopt him, like, in the way that, like, I didn't go through a shelter. He was actually my parents' French Bulldog.
Oh.
So okay. I got him because he apparently didn't get along well with the one that they have. And then also my mom is her mobility is starting to get a lot less. Like,
okay.
By a long shot, just to be honest. And he would stay kind of like right underneath of her feet. So at that point, I think, her and my dad was kind of like, we don't know what to do. And he's a great dog. Like, I have had zero problem with him. And I've had him for like 5 weeks now, something
Frenchies are
like that.
dope, man. I love Frenchies. Besides the
But
health.
he's very alpha. Like,
Oh,
when the shitty thing is, man, I had him for like three or 4 days, and I had to take him to the vet for something. It was, oh yeah, he had this little like nodule on his side, like right behind his ribs, and I'm like,
right
when I
there.
saw that, it reminded me of the spot that Vander had on his neck, my pit bull that passed away, and I'm like, that doesn't look good. I was like, I'm gonna go get that looked at. So as soon as I took him in, they were like, yeah,
What?
that's a mast cell tumor. So literally, I owned the dog for like 3 or 4 days, and I just dropped like $2,500 on it, to go have
Holy
surgery. But thankfully, I'm very confident with this particular vet that I'm using now. I'm very confident that they got it all, and that situation should be squashed and behind him now. The only
Yeah.
downside to it is my parents adopted him from a shelter. I don't know how he ended up in a shelter. My guess is he maybe belonged to a little old lady or something, and maybe she
Mm.
couldn't take care of him because, like, he is a very well trained, very obedient. Now he's deaf as hell. You don't hear anything. Like, I'm serious. I can sneak up on him within 2 or 3 feet. I can clap my hands right behind him. He can't hear it. And if you touch him, he'll jerk because he doesn't know you're behind him.
Look at
So the
that.
vet told me, she looked at his eyes and she was like, I was like, how old do you think he is? And she's like, she kind of had like a frown on her face. She's like, he's at least 10. I'm like, oh shit.
Holy
My
shit.
parents got him with papers that said he was 3. And I got thinking, I was like, you can look at him, he's not 3 years old. Like, that's blatantly obvious.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the turns out that the clinic that they got him from, though, they have like a 1 or 2 star review on Google because everyone around here hates them, and they are notorious for lying about the age.
Oh, that's not good, man. You
Which, I
can't lie
mean,
about them.
yeah, well, the thing is, there's no proof of it, though. That's if they're not microchipped, there's not a lot of proof. Like, it's my word against yours, right?
Yeah, yeah. You can't really prove it. You can't really prove it.
Yeah.
Hey, so one thing I started noticing because I've actually been looking to getting a Frenchie. I didn't realize how many different kinds of Frenchies there are, bro. Like we just think Frenchies, they're so well. There's the ones with the furry Frenchies,
The long haired ones are expensive as shit, too.
super expensive. But let's say just that category for furry Frenchies. There's like really long haired ones. There's like kind of long haired ones. There's like bigger ones, like 40 pound ones. There's like toy ones that are like 15. I'm like, holy fuck, I didn't know. I'm like, damn, I'm just thinking Frenchie. I'm like, well, why all these options, bro?
Is
But
there,
it's
and are they
because
actually different breeds, or are they just different
no,
genetics? I know
no,
the
they're
hair
different
is
genetics.
a different breed.
Kane. Yeah, the hair one, I think that would be considered a different breed. But the other ones is just because people, the way dogs came about in general is because people Kane, no, because people breed them for different reasons. So like people say, oh, I like this look, so I'm gonna breed for this look, and then they start to just open out. That's how dogs have so many different breeds to begin with,
Yeah.
right? So they do the same thing within breeds now, right? So you have all these different kinds, and it's kind of crazy. It's amazing. Look at this one that they're in.
If you want to get
they,
a Frenchie, my best advice is to thoroughly investigate the breeder
the
and make
health.
sure that, yeah, like the spinal issue is going to be the biggest issue with French Bulldogs. They're notorious for having bad backs.
Yeah,
And if their back blows, you got 2 options, and you ain't got but a few hours to figure your options out. Either you're going to have to give them spinal surgery, which is going to go between $12,000 to $15,000, and from my friends that's had it done, dude, it's like a crapshoot. It may work, it may not work, and you may be doing another $15,000 surgery in 3 months from now. Like,
yeah,
it can get very expensive, or you can put them down. So it's like,
yeah,
fuck, the options really suck. Like, my Frenchie has had spinal issues since he's about 9 months to about a year old. But because I caught it early, his issue is he can't jump down. Like, if he's on a couch or something, good news is he can't jump up either. So there's that. But if he's on a couch, we make sure that we always put him down because it's one of the issues he's got is like right between his shoulder blades. So if he jumps down, he lands on that wrong, it could potentially paralyze him. But I've known that since he's one, and he is 6.5 now, and he's doing just fine. No issues at all. But that's just because we've managed it. We haven't had any issues out of it. But not all Frenchies are built the same. Like I said, that spinal issue is the biggest one. Obviously, some of them will have ear issues, eye issues, nasal issues. Those don't bother me. Like I can mitigate around that. But the spinal issue, I can't put $50,000 into a dog. I don't have that kind of money around.
If they're with the ABKC as far as registered, they have the full health bill down to like great grandparents, like a perfect health bill. Those obviously are more expensive, of course, but like
I would rather pay the extra price for that up front, though.
100%. They even have Frenchies. They nickname them like Frenchie bulls, right? They're built like bullies, but they're Frenchies, and it's like what the fuck, right? So yeah, so nowadays you can work around it. If you just get like a regular Frenchie from like a regular breeder, then you don't really know. But like some of these breeders, man, they look at this one. This one is not healthy by any means, but I just thought it was kind of funny and interesting. This dude breeds Frenchies in Vegas. Look at this Frenchie's back.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about, man. I have a former client of mine who breeds this too, and they're called extreme Frenchies.
They are, yeah.
Was that one like doing little push-ups?
Yeah. Yo, this is hilarious. But I mean, obviously, this is extreme. They're not going to live a very long time. But,
no, they don't, unfortunately. And like you may or may not remember the guy that I used to prep that breeds those. His name was Ernesto.
Oh yeah, and he got the extreme ones, huh?
Yeah, and they were there. I mean, I'm not going to misquote him, but I'll just say this: they were fucking expensive.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, these guys are pretty expensive too. But yeah, this is overkill. But there's some that are built really well in like a positive way, like a pocket bully. Those are pretty healthy.
Yeah, I mean, we think. Why am I drawing a blank? Flex didn't have pocket bullies, did he?
He did, right? But I think Flex was selling. He was selling bullies, but I'm pretty sure he had because PJ got his bully from Flex, and okay. I think PJ's either a pocket or like a small standard. But they weren't like I don't think they were XLs, right? I think they were smaller for the most part.
Yeah. You've seen Rashad's dog, right?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, his dog's pretty cool. It's very muscular too, man. He's thick and he's short and thick.
Yeah. Well, he has two, right? He has the Frenchie and
a Frenchie as well.
Okay, fine, yeah. So
well, that's how like with Tyson. Like when I saw Tyson, I'm like, man, I don't know what the hell Tyson is. Like they got the same head. They definitely don't have the same body at all. Mm-hmm. I think my dog is just kind of a runt. He's an American bully that he's just a run of the living.
Yeah, fine. Now it looks cool though. Yo, there's this guy that actually he lives pretty close to me. What's this shit called? Fuck. Okay, I got it. Yeah. So Brazil bullies are big in Brazil now, but our bullies are mainly pit bulls with American bulldogs, maybe a little bit of English bulldog or something, right? But mainly American bulldogs, American pit bull. In Brazil, they call them pit monsters, and they have you ever heard of an old English bulldog? They're like kind of fucked up looking. They got these close eyes and like big ass heads.
Yeah, I know. You say old English bulldog. You're talking about the English bulldog breed, right?
No, it's like they're called oldie English bulldogs, and they're like American bulldogs, but like kind of fucked up looking, bro. I don't even know how to explain it. They have like imagine an American bulldog with a huge fucking head, a lot of muscle, and like these close eyes, right? So, but that's basically what it looks like. So they're like they're almost extinct. There's not a lot of them left because they come from molosters or some shit like. They come from like an extinct dog that isn't around anymore.
I've never seen
Anyways,
them. I've just seen the regular English bulldog,
yeah,
and
yeah,
they're cute dogs, but like they're not for me because
me
like I will
neither.
say the level of intelligence on most of them is pretty low. Like
It's
it just is what.
horrendous. It's horrendous. I'm not gonna lie. It makes them cute and a cool friend, but I need a dog to be some kind of sharpness, a little bit of sharpness at least.
But the
But
drooling, like that's where
insane.
the English bulldog kind of turns me off is the amount of drool.
I don't like Joe. It's like mastiffs too, like with the some of the cane corsos or some of
Corsos
the
can
English.
too.
Oh, so that shit is what. Well, some bullies, if a bully has a lot of mastiff influx, you know the double XLs. Oh
Yeah.
my god, that jewel is disgusting. But anyways, so these pit monsters are basically pit bulls with more old English bulldogs. And this guy he imported one from from Brazil, but he lives here. He lives in LA. And
Well,
let me see.
technically, my Frenchie's from Brazil too.
Oh yeah, bro, look at this shit right here. What
He's
the fuck
fucking
is this?
big. Yeah, okay. I see what you're talking about with the eyes being close together.
And the butt head. Kane kind of had the butt head like that too. But holy fuck, they look like terrifying, but they act like little babies. Like look at
Yeah, and
him.
that guy there's pretty beefy as well.
Holy boy, he's twice the size of this guy. Like I don't know his stats, but he
Dog's
looks
over
like
100 pounds, I'm sure.
oh he got to be well over it. His head alone is 100 pounds, but
And
like
these are called pit monsters.
yeah, they call them pit monsters in Brazil, but in the U.S. they're categorized as
I mean, he looks
XL bullies.
badass. I like him.
Me too. I'm not gonna lie.
I'd take
I
him.
mean, he's not a pretty looking dog, but he looks cool. Like for us, I mean,
Me and him would get along fucking great as long as he don't bite me.
me too. My only thing is that if you were to breed them here, I don't. I mean, I live in West Hollywood. Nobody's buying this dog in West Hollywood. I'll tell you that much. But
Why?
huh?
Why?
Because I feel like there'll be terrible. But some of these people they're scared of Kane. Kane is like 60 pounds, so this guy is like 140 probably. You know, I mean, they're dog lovers here, so I mean, somebody will like him, but generally, some people are scared of dogs like this, bro. You know, and the funny part is they're the most loving dogs ever, like literally the most loving dogs ever. But
I've been
I guess,
around not one of those, but I have. Matter of fact, he was actually offered to me for free. But I was
uh,
around an XL or a double XL bully, and it
yeah,
weighed 150 pounds. And the only reason I didn't take him was the owner did say he can be a little territorial with other dogs. And at the
for sure.
time, like Vander, my old pit, he usually wouldn't stand down to another dog. But when this dog came in the house, Vander was kind of like, "Oh shit!" Like he did, like he kind of like froze for a second because this dog was like a horse coming through my house.
Yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah.
remember the fucker would like my countertops come up way past my waist here in the house, and I mean I guess they're kind of high.
Hmm.
And this dog, literally, if he wanted something, he'd just stick his head on top of the countertop and grab it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he had no manners, but I mean he was a good dog. I just couldn't take the chance of him either. I mean he's 150 pounds and my Frenchie's like 27. So I was like,
Yeah.
it's going to be a snack if he gets really pissed off with it.
If an XL doesn't have manners, that's dangerous because the thing is, I mean, as human beings, you know, we love to believe we have a lot of power because ultimately we do. But you're not gonna if he wants some like if my XL full grown, if he wants something, I can't actually stop him. I can
Yeah,
only stop him because he respects me.
yeah,
But but
exactly.
but if he didn't respect me, I couldn't physically stop him because even at this age, like when he really pulls, and I'm probably one of the biggest people who have these dogs, and when they pull, they pull. So I gave him he's only 5 months. I gave him a whole chicken, and he ate it like a potato chip. He
I'm
just
sure.
it didn't touch the floor. I passed it to him. He grabbed it and swallowed it basically, and I'm like, what the fuck, you know? And I'm like, this is
Bones and all.
yeah, bones and all, like, just like that. And I'm like, that's concerning because he's 5 months. So, but the good thing is he, like I said, he's calmer than Kane. He's loving. He just wants to cuddles and stuff like that and pets. So because their demeanor, it only works because of their demeanor. If they had the mind of pit bulls, it could never work. It could never work. So, but because they have the, I guess the bulldogs or whatever, they're docile. He's like super docile. But that's the only way it could possibly work. There's no other way that could work. But anyways,
Yeah, the XL bully I was around, like the person who owned him, the collar was probably like a 1/4 inch thick and like a 1/2 inch wide, or sorry, like an inch wide, maybe an inch and a half wide, but it was thick as hell. And I was like, seems a little overkill. And they were like, yeah, you try walking him and tell me if that's overkill or not. When he wants to go, you got to dig your feet into the blacktop to hold on to this guy.
100%. Well, okay, so I have the prong collar for Kane. Kane is wearing the biggest size. Kane is a pocket bully, but his neck is 22. So this guy's neck, I don't know what it's gonna be. So I'm gonna have to like get it from like the manufacturer. They have I get it from Amazon, but if you go to the manufacturer, they make bigger sizes. So I'm gonna have to go outside of Amazon just to get one that fits, which is crazy, But it's cool. I fucking love dogs, honestly. I think if they love you and respect you, you have no issues. Whatever I tell them to do, they do it, and they're young. They're not even grown. I'm gonna get more, bro. Call me crazy. I'm gonna get a Frenchie, and that's probably it after the Frenchie.
The only thing with you having them that would be annoying to me is where you're not on like the first floor.
No. That is it's great on
that would be hard for me. Like I just open my back door and let them out in the backyard.
Yeah. Well, I try letting them go on the balcony, but they don't like the balcony. It makes them nervous.
Yeah, because they probably they know that it's not solid what they're standing.
They don't trust it, But it's good to get like I don't have to do as much cardio because fucking walking up and down,
walking, letting them out and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't mind. It's I go downstairs. I have people. Everybody has dogs. I live by Running Canyon, right outside. So there's a bunch of dogs outside. I have good conversations with people and stuff like that. So it's fun. Okay, but all right, enough dog talk. Let's actually look at Legion was the last one, I believe.
Yeah.
1 second.
And that one was Tonio's show, right?
Yeah. That was Tonio's show.
How does Tonio just kind of like, I never know when he's going to compete. The guy just shows up. Like, he doesn't have hype around him anymore. I don't know why, because he's great.
Yeah. He doesn't have a lot of hype, but he has the results. 1 second. Let me pull up Tonio first. So what do you I'm gonna ask you a question and then I gotta answer this call real quick. I think they're gonna send somebody upstairs. But what do you think of Tonio's look here?
Let's let him, from what I've seen earlier on it, I'll look at this video here. I don't know if this is his all-time best conditioning, but this is a great package for him. I mean, he's hard, he's polished, and his conditioning can't be much off of his best, but I think he's been just a tiny. The year, I think didn't he get 7th at the Olympia one time? I think that might have been like his best conditioning ever, but this here is very, very good. He always has the teeny tiny waist. He's full, round, he's bubbly. I probably on this show, I mean, I knew going into this show he was going to be the guy to beat, and obviously he did win. I don't know if I would have had Patrick in second on this one, though. I honestly don't know if I would have had Patrick in the top 4.
I mean, he didn't look that much different than usual. He was a little sharper, but it wasn't anything crazy. He still wasn't shredded.
The thing that stands out the most with Tonio is like most open guys, when they hit that side tricep, you can see the stomach and like the thickness in the midsection. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have a midsection. Like it's incredibly small. And he actually looks a little bit bigger here too, which good for him because I know he had that motorcycle accident, right?
Yes, he did. He said he was, I think he said he was 15 pounds heavier, which, when I heard it, you know what crossed my mind, right? I'm like, uh-oh, he's not going to be in shape.
Out of shape, yeah. No, I
But
think he's a guy that's pretty well in tune with conditioning at this point. I don't think you'll ever see Tonio on stage that if he ever is off, he's going to be like 95%.
exactly. So what I noticed that is that the more muscle actually helped his aesthetics. It accentuated his aesthetics, if anything, more. You know how when he was in like an open look versus 212, he actually
Yeah.
looks like Keon. Like the more muscle they add, they look more aesthetic because their waist just looks smaller. 'Cause everything else grows besides their waist.
Well,
So
yeah, his
he
shoulder back and his quad sweep have all gotten bigger.
exactly. So his legs looks the best they've ever looked because his waist stays put, shoulders are bigger, legs are X frame is looking crazy, arms are bigger. So he actually looks more aesthetic, and he's really starting to look like Dexter and Michael Lockett. He's like a
Yeah.
like Dexter's frame and Michael Lockett's like muscle bellies and lines almost. It's a really, I think it's an insane look. He's the only one that could be on the smaller side and still look more muscular than people.
I
And
mean, he's definitely going to be in the top 10. I can't see him falling out of that.
yeah, I mean, this is incredible.
Is he doing Toronto next weekend?
I don't. The list came out and it was only like 6 7 people, but that's not the. There's gonna be
Yeah.
there's gonna be a new list because Janik he just turned pro and he said he's doing Toronto.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I think there's gonna be more add-ons. I don't know if Tony was doing it though. I know Regan and Sauce for sure. And hey, Janik is a big guy, man. He's gonna look good in the lineup. Obviously he's not gonna be Sass and Regan, but I think the rest of the placings is up for grabs. There's not any big names in there.
Yeah, I'm
You
curious
know,
as to who's actually gonna show up and do that. I mean, I think Reagan's probably normally I would say no, but he lives right there.
yeah,
So
yeah.
why not? You know?
It would make sense. This is so okay. So okay, Patrick beat Bruno as well, which to me, I still don't fully get it. Crazy structure, crazy X frame, but he always had a crazy X frame, right? Let's see. Um,
He doesn't have yeah, he has one of the best structures in the entire sport. I'll give him that.
for sure. His legs look like really full, which his legs usually look like a weak point. They don't
They
here.
usually look flat. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's probably the biggest improvement I see right here. His legs look the biggest they probably ever looked.
I think when he turns around here, actually this is a higher quality video than what I saw because I saw the pictures like that just came out right when they were posing.
Yeah.
But even still, on that back double, I don't think his conditioning is. I mean, it's still pretty off.
Yes,
So
the shape looks good, like the arms, the lats,
yeah,
even the quad sweep looks good.
everything's on. But I think
This
with
area.
him, something that might help him out because see how he clenches his pushes his hips forward, clenching his glutes.
Yeah, too much.
Well, when he's doing that though, it makes his legs look thin because he has no
Yeah,
adductor in there.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
think for someone like him, if he were to push his butt back and try to make his legs look thicker, that would make a better pose for him.
It would help. It would be the only thing with the hips back is sometimes it shallows out your lower back. But with all due respect, his lower back is kind of already shallow. So I think it would help more than hinder, right? If it makes because it's not like he has a crazy lower back to begin with. So I think if he pushes the hips out, it would kind of look the same, just better adductors, right? I think
Yeah,
so.
I think it'd be a better pose for him.
Yeah.
But I still think, I don't know who he works with, whether he works with himself or whatnot, but
Yeah, himself right now, he said.
he needs to just dial in a bit harder. And it don't take a lot,
No.
5 pounds, five
Well,
pounds more.
I think he said he was down almost 15 pounds from Cal because Cal he was just out of shape.
Yeah, I
So
think another 5, and I could justify where he's at here.
I mean, his legs are really improved. Actually, it didn't mean his legs look like a strong point right now as far as size, not separation. That's crazy. I mean, he never had big legs. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely improved from the cow, no doubt about that. But I didn't think it was quite enough here.
Bruno got third. Do you think Patrick? Do you think Patrick deserves to beat Bruno?
From the front, yes.
Okay.
I think when they turn around here, I haven't seen any of these videos, so this is all actually new to me. I'm going to slide my.
It kind of helps to see these. It helps to see these. He had a big head. You can see his jaw from behind, bro.
Actually, I take it back. You know, like I was kind of like leaning a little towards like, how did Patrick beat him? But the pictures I saw was not the same as the videos I'm seeing here right now.
They have,
based on the videos, I'm actually going to go Patrick in second.
Patrick had a really different looking physique. Like I don't know how to say it, but like this looks like a bodybuilder to me. Like I look at him and this like a bodybuilder. Patrick almost looks like an athlete. It's like I'm looking at an athlete on stage. You know, sometimes it throws me off because I don't know where to. I mean, throw the judges off as well. I almost don't know where to put him because he doesn't give me bodybuilder. It's like an oversized athlete almost, and this guy looks more traditional to me. If that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Patrick was a boxer prior to this, right?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to judge physique so different. This is like it's such a different physique. But yeah, and these videos actually he actually does look pretty good. And who got fourth? I think it was Florian, but I don't see. Oh, I see Ken. But let me see.
I think Ken should have been up there too. I don't know how they had Ken in like sixth place.
Bro, did you see Ken in the lineup? He was literally the biggest guy, like the densest guy with really good shape, and his condition was just as good as anybody in the lineup. That's
like
insane.
I like his look. Like
Me too.
He brings everything.
Compare his quad separations to Patrick and Bruno that we just saw.
He has it like the look at him right now. He has like a much denser look about his body.
He does.
He looks like he can compare better to Tonio than Bruno or Patrick. By far, would have been a better comparison.
They didn't even. Oh, and look at we're talking about legs,
and he's in shape.
That's what I'm saying.
I would have probably put this guy in second or third.
Exactly what I'm saying. But when I say it, it seems like because he's my friend. So I'm just saying that. So I almost don't want to say it because it's like, oh, that's your friend.
Yeah, you don't want to be biased on it. That's probably his weakest pose, that rear lat spread.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, that's one of 7 poses that and Patrick has probably got a good rear lat spread because he has a big back.
Yeah,
but that would just be like one of 7 poses that he loses.
Bro, when I say
that's a money shot for him, that most muscular.
He ended up in 5th place, but he didn't even get compared with the top 5. He wasn't in the first call out. So how could you miss him to the point that he doesn't make the first call out, even though he did make top 5? But bro, how could you miss that? That like it's even the commentators were saying, Kai Green was like, look at this guy, what the fuck? Like everybody was talking about it. So I don't understand how they missed him that bad. I don't get it. I don't
know either. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, like you can't miss the guy. Like
the only one I see clearly beating him is Tonio.
Yeah,
I don't see Patrick
Tonio kicked everybody's ass there. That was not a question.
That was a clear win. Yeah,
but I probably would have, based on these videos, I probably would have put Ken in second.
Yeah,
I actually thought when I saw his pictures leading into like before he actually started the season, I just about guaranteed he was going to win at least one show this year, multiple shows this year. Now, starting with New York, I don't think that was a good move for him to do the New York Pro, just because there's always going to be an elite guy that shows up on that one. And Ken's a rookie. This is his pro debut. Although he doesn't look like a rookie, I mean, I wouldn't have had him do New York, but he's done 3 shows now, right?
This is, I
New
think, no, that's the
York.
second one.
Did he do
He
Pittsburgh?
no, he didn't do Pittsburgh or Cal. He skipped that. I really feel like he should keep going, but Ken had the full time job. I don't know if he can keep going.
What does he do?
But he's the engineer. He's
Okay.
Nigerian, bro.
You know, you
Nigerians are
say
all engineers.
Nigeria,
Yeah, he's Nigerian. They're all engineers, bro. Or
but
they're
but the thing, he's in the U.S. though, right? That's what I'm
oh
thinking.
yeah. No.
Okay.
He just did his descent.
Oh,
He's born in the U.S.
this is it's on topic with what you said, but it's slightly off topic, and I'm just going to basically shit on the general public with this one. But like when I see like a celebrity gets in shape or something,
Mm-hmm.
of course people's like, "Well, steroids help." I'm like, "Oh, of course they do, right?" Like come up with your own shortcomings. But people will say stuff like, "Well, it helps when you have a full time chef to cook all your food for, and you don't have to work a job." Okay,
Yeah,
here's a guy who works a job, cooks his own fucking meals, and he looks like this. Like, I hate when people's like, "I don't
this is
got
true.
time to cook." I don't. Yeah, you do. You just don't want
Yeah,
you. It's not your priorities.
100%. Well, he also went to the show alone. He didn't have anybody cooking his meals. He didn't have any cameraman, no friend, no his girl wasn't there. Nobody. He just pulled
It's
up.
probably
So
best that way though, man, because I have found that when I am solo by myself, the stress isn't there. Like I don't even like to entertain people. Like I don't even like to talk. Like when I'm 2 days out, I just want to lay down, watch TV, relax. And he might be the same way. I don't know that he is, but like maybe maybe it's like a vacation for him to get away.
the one time I had my family in the hotel room with me, bro. That was a bad idea. Bad idea. They had my nieces and nephews were there too, and I'm trying to take a nap, and I'm like, this is bad. This is bad. So that was the first time and last time I did that.
Yeah, for me it was like more mental than it was physical because I wasn't sleeping too good anyways, but at least I could be at peace. And when I
Exactly.
say at peace, like I don't just because I got friends and family around me doesn't mean I'm not happy, but I kind of just prefer to be like just neutral. Like I don't want to feel anything.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Just the idea of even putting on any personality for somebody.
Yeah,
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like I said, there's probably going to be a couple of additions, but as of now, we got Aaron Gali, Regan, Sas, Hussein, Adam. This Adam Mildage sounds familiar.
I know who
Andre.
he is. I actually met him when I was guest posing when he was still an amateur. I
Uh-huh.
don't think Adam, unfortunately, this lineup's going to be. I mean, with a few of the names that's on there, it's going to be a little bit deeper for him.
Uh-huh.
Andrea Muzi could be. I think he'll be top 3.
Yeah, he's pretty
Felix is
good.
actually pretty good, man. Like he's a very nobody talks about him, but he's got a good structure. He's a very large guy as well. And Skyler, I used to coach Skyler when he was an amateur. He's
Oh
another
shit.
guy has a really big frame, and I don't know what he looks like within the past 6 months. He's not going to beat Reagan, and he's not going to beat Sass. But Skyler and Felix, based on that lineup, could fight for third and fourth.
Yeah, Felix already knows this, but Felix's posing really throws him off sometimes because he can get really shaky. He's aware of it, so I'm pretty sure he's working on it. But you wouldn't think posing would be a big deal until it is, right? You, it's not like you have to be the best poser, but if you're the worst poser,
Yeah.
that makes a really big difference, actually.
And the
Um,
thing with Skyler on those photos,
mhm.
he may look a little thin. I mean, I'm not saying he does, but like he may not look as thick as some of the other guys. But one thing you do got to realize, I think Skyler's I'm going to estimate 6'2" to 6'3", and he like
Oh,
that middle photo there. I'd be willing to bet he's not under 300 pounds there.
oh, well, that changes a lot of things. Oh, I think he trains with Quentin. He's a Canadian guy. I think I know.
Yeah, he's
I think I know
Canadian.
him.
Yeah, he lives in Toronto. So I mean, if him and Quint get together, I mean, I'm sure that Because some of those pictures he's got is at Pure.
Okay, I think it was going. I just watched a video with Quint, and he was training with him, so that's where I saw him before. I think yesterday I saw a video. Okay, yeah. I know who he is. Yeah, he looked impressive in the video. He looked
Yeah,
impressive in the
he's a
video.
very big guy. I mean,
Okay.
I'm still going to go based on this. I mean, it's going to be Reagan and Sauce. I actually hate the fact that Sauce continues to, because he's so good, but he's always standing beside someone who's just a little bit better. Like he's not won a show yet, even though like he deserves shows. I mean, he's
Yeah.
not been screwed out of one yet, but like I just want to see the guy get one. I feel like that physique needs to be remembered.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's like there's so many people who need to qualify that it's like there's almost always that one guy. Well, there's other people, but like that can beat him. That one guy is genetic, right? Because it's not like they peak better than him, but this
I'm going to
is
play
like we.
devil's advocate on this for a second.
Mhm.
Reagan just won the cow. What if Reagan got a little overly confident and got a little sloppy and slips? If Reagan slips, Sass can come in and beat him.
Oh, for sure. I mean, and he doesn't. Reagan doesn't have to be like 8 weeks out slip. If Reagan is in not in comparable condition
Yeah.
to Sass is because Sass was still quite a bit more shredded than Regan at Cal. So if Regan is any less conditioned than that, I think Sass beats him.
Yeah, he very well could.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
mean, that
okay.
would be a huge upset for Reagan, but, you know, and I'm sure he's going to see this and he knows that he can't, that he has no room for error.
I just saw this the other day. Was it on Gilco? Maybe it was on Gilco. Let me see. It might have been on Gilco. Yeah. I think I was comparing it. And there's still a big difference between Sa's condition and everybody else. Let me see.
He just has a certain look about him that like nobody else seems to have. Like, I'm not saying he should be Mr. Olympia. I'm not saying that he's been robbed, but he does have a very unique look that it's like, you know how Hottie Chupon has like a density level not many guys have? And I don't know what, I know Sass is from the UK, but he's not, I don't think he's English.
He's Persian. He's right.
So yeah, yes, he's got that Persian genetics too.
Hey man, we say things like that, and it's like stereotypes, but it's so true. It's not a coincidence, bro. Like,
Well, I mean,
like
look at the Nigerian bodybuilders; they're all fucking big and huge, and I'd
and
be willing to bet
bubbly.
even a third of the gear that the American bodybuilders are using.
Ken was a natural bodybuilder for until I think 2021. I want to say.
Oh, he's only been using gear for 4 years.
Yeah, he was. He wasn't even taking bodybuilding seriously until like a couple of years ago. So it's one of those things. Yeah, there's no coincidence. It is what it is. Like every Persian doesn't just diet harder than every every American.
Yeah.
They look different. They have a different skin texture. I just saw okay.
What's his name? What's the guy? Why am I drawing a blank? The guy who can't make it to the U.S.
Oh,
Milos'
Beirut.
guy.
Holy shit. Beirut Tabani.
Beirut, yeah, he's another one that's got like that crazy hardness and thin skin.
Insane, bro. Insane. Is this the video? This the video. One of the picture the pictures are better than the Cal videos, man. Forget about it. You gotta look at the pictures. So okay, so Regan looks really good, right? Lines. This might be his best combo as far as condition and fullness, because he usually has lines in his hamstrings, but this is pretty for Regan's back. This is pretty dry.
That's good for Reagan, yeah. I mean, that's a big step up from what we've seen him in the past.
But he's not flat, right? Because with Regan, sometimes it's like condition. With Chris Aceto, he was his most peeled, but he was flat. And then he was like with Milos, he was full, but he wasn't, And this is probably the best combo, I would say.
He's with Boss as well.
Yes, Boss usually pushes fullness quite a bit, but this is a good combination. Sometimes too much. Like with Martin, I think their fullness is too much. I don't think Martin needs to be 9 out of 10 fullness. Okay, But even that, so that being said, as good as Regan looks, right? Compare that Regan condition we just saw, right? Now compare it to this.
Yeah,
There's a
it's not close.
difference.
So if
There's a
Reagan
difference.
shows up off, he can definitely lose.
Look at look at the chest. Look at the abs. Look at the skin texture is different, man. Like they might be the same body fat or close to it. No, I don't think it's the same body fat, but still, like it's a different skin texture. Even his complexion, his tan, everything is just sharp. Now, what I want to say, if you remember, Sas's arms still look good in the side poses, but remember when Sas was new to the scene, he had really good triceps, like sweeping triceps. If
But
he
he had an
still,
injury, right?
I don't. He said he didn't mention it, but he said his arms just don't. He can't stimulate it anymore. Let me open the door real quick.
Hmm.
1 second, sorry. But yeah, he said his arms for some reason just started growing.
I don't know why that would be. I mean, unless he's got some nerve damage or something in there. Chill, Tyson. Tyson.
Okay, I gotta remember to cut that part out. Let me see.
Oh, yeah. I'm just sitting here telling Tyson to chill.
All right,
He
if I
heard
leave
bullets
it
outside and he went to defense mode.
in. Okay, but yeah. When he was on a pod, he just said his arms just atrophied. He took a break, lost some size, went back to training. Everything else grew, and the arms just didn't grow. I think some people age, some people's legs go, I guess. Some people's arms go. Limbs,
Yeah, I
usually
mean, he's
limbs.
got to be like 30 to 35 now, right?
No, he's in his 40s, bro.
Oh, he's in his 40s. Well, he aged well too. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see 40 now that I'm like putting my face right up to the screen.
Like he used to have crazy sweeping, but Bonac lost some arms. It's just that he used to have 23-inch arms. So if they're down to 21, nobody cares, right? Nobody notices.
Yeah,
That's one
but
of
when
those
your
things.
arms is not your dominant body part and then they get a little smaller, people will notice that.
Exactly the point. Let me see when he was. I'm trying to find something he was younger. I think this is old picture. So okay, look at his arms here.
Yeah, they were definitely fuller.
Yeah, they're like round. His legs might be better now, but yeah, but his arms were fuller. He had like, I remember I was at the Cal when he went against Nathan, and I remember him having like crazy triceps, like fullness. But
Was that 2016?
I want to say yeah, either 16 or 17. I want to say 17. I want to say
17.
17,
Yeah.
somewhere around there. Yeah, but yeah, it's just one of those things that it happens. He has more than enough to win shows though. Either way.
Well, I'm hoping he
But
gets one this season. Hoping he's able to make it to the Olympia and achieve his dream with doing that.
think he will, man. It's just you have to, like you said earlier, with Ken doing New York, right? I know why he did New York, but because he's from, they have it in Jersey. He's from Jersey, but it almost like there has to be strategy, just for the simple fact that you can only do so many shows. That your body can only stay fresh for so many shows, and if you pick the wrong shows, you may not be able to qualify, right? Because you can only go for so long.
Yeah.
So in today's IFBB, with as much talent as we have, as far as the pool, I think if you want to qualify and that's your plan, you have to pick shows accordingly. To strategize to a point. There's really no other way around it. Let's see. What was the? Did you see Kane? Kane? No. Did you see Ryan Foster looked really good? He got 6, I think they said.
Was he?
He the he the newer pro. He turned pro a couple years ago, I believe, at Nationals.
No, I
And
remember the face. I think I might have been there when this guy turned pro.
I mean, he has really good shape and structure.
He's came a long way since I've seen him.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
He
I think
looks
he has
young
the
as well. Was he like 25?
yeah, when he shaves his face, he looks like a baby. I didn't even know he looked that young. So, he's good friends with Stu. So I would say he's around Stu's age group. So, in the mid to late 20s, I would assume.
Yeah.
I wanna have him on the pod. But hey, if you can shave your face and look this young, you got to really be young because in bodybuilding, we're not gonna.
Yeah,
It's hard to
definitely.
look that. Yeah, yeah. I mean, well, what do you think? I think if he continues to grow, man, this
He
is
could
this
be
is a really
like what
good
I
guy.
call classic bodybuilding. Like, have
Uh-huh.
like the classic structure, but at like the size of an open guy. He needs a better back. I'll say that. That's going to be the area he's going to have to focus on because his legs are not lacking density or conditioning,
Look at
but
the
his like
glutes.
his back and like just all around, he doesn't
Yeah.
have like that wow factor on that pose.
No, no.
Even the back double there. I mean, when his back is contracted, it's not. He's just going to have to do a little bit more time on that.
Yeah,
Front
he
looks
will.
good. I
Hey,
only
but
see one body part that he's just got to continue pushing harder.
the glutes are dug out, man.
Yeah, he's in
The
shape.
glutes.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's a little weird because like his quads and hamstrings are right on, and everything is right on except the back.
Yeah, it's probably just the density.
Terrible. I'm being nitpicky here, but I mean, when you're talking about a top pro or a guy who's aspiring to be a top pro, you have to be exactly that nitpicky.
Yeah, yeah. You got to have the
Details matter.
yeah. It seems like the back of the density thing, but really, really great showing. Hopefully he keeps going as well. Hopefully he keeps going. What did you wait? What show was before the cows? New York, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, first of all, let me think of Florian. Florian came back. Holy shit! That's really good. It's a really
See,
really
I
good film
probably would have
post.
put this over Patrick as well.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, Florian.
Yeah. I don't know about Bruno. I think I was getting Florian Bruno confused
Oh,
because
oh
this
yeah.
guy's definitely in better shape.
Well, Florian placed behind Bruno. I think Florian got
Yeah.
fourth actually.
Uh,
I
yeah,
don't.
he did.
Sometimes I just don't. Maybe you had to be there in person. I don't know, but from pictures, I just don't. I don't agree, man. I just don't agree. Plain and simple. You know. Yeah. Okay. Stefan. Well, this guy's gonna be a beast. I don't know if he started prep yet. If that's how he looks at 280, that's pretty good.
Oh, that was the guy that went from classic to open, right?
Yeah, yeah. Look at the look at the tri.
He's
He
got
got
some just
the
wacky muscle insertions.
that's the Kevin Levrone triceps, man.
Yeah.
That's insane. Holy fuck. But you see what I mean? Just the level of young talent or talent in general in the IBB right now it's
Is
really
that Ken
picking up.
Jackson
Where?
right there?
Oh here.
Ken?
Oh yeah, but he's doing doesn't he won the Masters wait. He won the Masters Olympia? He won something. I'm sorry. He won a Masters show last year. As a grown man. Not the not or he's doing the Masters Olympia, but he won the Masters Legion or something. I remember he did it.
I
But
did one of
Paul,
my first photo shoots with Ken. It was kind of comical because like when they used to pair like two
thank you,
bodybuilders
brother.
together and us
Oh,
training and whatnot, and they would shoot that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Huh?
So me and Ken was shooting with Jeff Saigo, and I don't have a training at the time. I didn't have a training partner at all, but I had very little experience training with someone. And I'm not that guy that's like, "Come on, man, come on, you got two more." Like that's just I'm not that guy. And
Fuck that.
Jeff was like, "Hey, Justin," he's like, because what they want to see for the camera is like he's doing presses and I'm behind him. They want me going like, like yelling at him and shit.
It's so
And
cringe though.
and I was like, Jeff was telling me, he's like, come on. He's like, pump him up. And I'm like, come on, kid. Come on. You got another one. And they just fucking started laughing at me. Like, that's all you got, dude. I'm like, I don't do this shit all the time.
Yeah, no, but it's weird to do that shit. Hey, do you coach Andy? Well, he's Joe's. You know who Andy is?
Yeah,
Classic G
Joe's
guy.
photographer, right?
No. The competitor, he won Legion Classic. This guy, he he's one of their friends. I just assumed you coach him for some reason this whole time, but Andy, he probably
No,
not.
no, I
Okay,
don't.
he's in their camp, so I assume. But he won Legion. Looked really good as well. Okay. Oh, let's see if the video for Janicki. Boom, Janicki. So this was when he got his pro card. I mean, he looks how Janicki usually looks.
How what?
He looks how he usually looks, pretty much. I mean, he's always big, full, and he's always. I don't think he's ever been out of shape. I think sometimes his glutes and hams aren't that hard, but he's always big, round, full, and in good shape.
I think he needs to just drop down just a little bit more to just try to etch out as much detail as he can because, when he went against Joe in 23, I think, yeah, USA's in 23.
Uh-huh.
I had Joe winning it the whole time, but I was just thinking, like, man, if this guy had Joe's level of conditioning, I'd be singing a different tune right now. I would just like to see him come in just a little bit sharper.
So,
But I'm also glad he kind of got back on his feet because remember it was last year at the USA's when we ran into him.
he told me he was done. Yeah.
Yeah, he just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I got a family, and I'm like, I kind of figured, I was like, I ain't going to say anything. I was like, let him come to his own senses
100%.
because, is he going to be Mr. Olympia? Probably not. I don't think he has the structure to become Mr. Olympia, even if he nails the conditioning. But like, I would hate to see that walk away as an amateur.
Yeah. I know that. Like you've been in the industry longer than me. How many times have you heard that from really good guys that I'm done? You've heard that 100 times.
I've heard it many, many times. Most of the time, it's bullshit because, like, and I've said it. I actually had this conversation with someone last night when I
Exactly.
did the 2011 Nationals and I got absolutely hammered and destroyed. It didn't just destroy me on stage; it destroyed me mentally as well. Because I had never, at that point in my life, I had never been less than like fifth place ever.
Yeah.
And then I went from that to 13th, and I'm like, wow, dude, I don't know if this is. Maybe this is not for you. And it kind of like it brought me back down to earth pretty fast. And I said, I'm done. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I don't think I went back to the gym for like a month.
Yeah, I feel like because the sport is really difficult. So what it does to you, the impact it takes on you, you're gonna feel that way, right? I mean, you know what I have to do to get in shape. So almost every year, I tell myself that. Almost every year, I'm like, this is the last time, just because the amount of suffering. But you know what happens? I'm like, I actually like it. Like when I don't do it, I'm like, I kind of want to diet. Like, wait, right?
Yeah.
Okay, off season. If I could eat a cookie, if I want to eat a cookie, I can have a cookie. But guess what? You don't want to have a cookie because
You don't want
eating
it.
so much.
You want it when you can't have it.
Exactly. First of all, you're not hungry because you're eating 6 big meals. So you're like, okay, so you kind of want to diet until 6 weeks out. Then all of a sudden you're like, I'm tired of dieting. So in my head, I'm like, if I don't compete, what do I do? I tried it that 1 year after I had pneumonia. I'm like, okay, I'm done bodybuilding. I'm gonna do whatever I want. And guess what happens? You eat mac and cheese, you eat burgers. Then after like 3 days, you're like, I just want salmon and rice.
Yeah.
Then you're like, I just want chicken and rice. Then you're like, I want to train a little harder. I'm tired of doing 20 reps. I want to train heavy again. Then you end up doing the same exact shit you would be doing if you were in the full blown off season. Like maybe 500 less calories. But the thing is, we end up doing the same shit. So I'm like, as long as my health,
my Frenchie's acting a little weird. I don't know if he just shit in the floor right here.
probably should have.
Okay, it was a false alarm. I had to let him out, so I'll have to let him back in a minute. Just my little one's kind of went across the floor, which is not normal for him. But the older Frenchie I have, he's a bit bossy, and he pretty much takes control.
Okay.
And I've had him for like 3-4 weeks now, but I still watch very carefully to make sure there's not a dogfight.
Everything's good, yeah. Okay. But yeah, that's normal in sport. You'll feel like that because you have to put so much into it. Yeah, sometimes you feel like, ah, fuck it, I'm done. But yeah, I'm happy Janik continued because
I think it was
he's
a
a really
matter
good
of
bodybuilder.
time for him.
Yeah, he was super close. But yeah, what I was gonna say is that I completely agree with you as far as the conditioning thing. The only thing I've noticed is that when he tries to push conditioning harder, he doesn't look like he's in better condition. He kind of just looks smaller, if that makes sense.
Because you just get
Um, yeah, I'm sure there's a way to do it. There's a way to perfect it, whether it's like filling up harder, or not filling up as hard, or more diuretics or less diuretics. I mean, there's gonna be a formula that's gonna work for him. But anytime he's tried to push condition more than this, he tends to just look smaller, honestly, and then not necessarily sharper. At last year's USA, he was the lightest he's been, but I didn't see like a ton more detail in the glutes and hams. I think I saw more than this though, if I'm being honest. But it wasn't like that. The 10 pounds, it wasn't 10 pounds of conditioning. It was maybe a couple more pounds of conditioning, if that makes
he
sense.
looks very, very full here, almost to the point he may have gotten a little too full.
Yeah, I think so. I think
That being said, I mean, I really don't like to make this statement because I come off as a hater when I say this, and it's not towards Eric. It's
Mhm.
actually towards I don't know his coach. I don't know who it is.
It's
I've seen his
the
Instagram page, but I don't know the guy.
okay,
And I
okay,
feel like
yeah.
there's a point where, like, I know his coach is probably spitting mad by hearing me say this right now if he does hear it. And
Okay.
it shouldn't be that way because look at it like this: Derek Lunsford was an amateur all the way to like second place at the Olympia with James Brown. He went pretty
Yeah.
far with him, but he needed to change things up. Like, obviously, James wasn't able to get Derek where he needed to be, which is why I assume that would be why Derek went a different direction. And the only reason I'm going to say that about Eric is I'm not saying his coach is a bad coach. Didn't say that at all. I mean, he obviously just got his pro card for him, but we haven't seen like elite pro level conditioning from him. So I think at this point, because that's 3 years in a row that they haven't brought the right conditioning. And again, it's not a jab towards the coach. Maybe they're just not a good fit for each other, and maybe Eric needs to try something different. I mean, I look at it like this: if they're doing the same thing every year, it's going to be the same results every year too. Maybe a
Yes,
little bigger.
his coach is Callum, and he usually works with more influencer type competitors and usually classic. So the only open guy I've seen him work with, only one time he worked with him was damn, what's the black guy from the UK? Mark Hector.
Yeah. Okay.
And that was Mark's least conditioned look ever. He was big and full as shit. And it's impressive because Mark has the crazy arms and shoulders. So it was very impressive from the front, but glutes, hams were soft as hell.
Yeah.
Right. So it seems like when he works with the open guys, he brings them in way too full and not hard enough. I completely agree. I try to insinuate that to Eric. I don't want to flat out say it because I didn't feel like it was my place, especially right after the show. Right, that's not a
Yeah.
good time to say it. But I try to. I was like, hey, Compton is really good. we're big guys and stuff. Just throwing it out there. I don't want to, but
I mean,
I'm
I
pretty sure
respect him for being loyal to his coach at the same time. I just think that they haven't reached the level of conditioning that they need to do yet. And I don't know if that's a peaking thing. I don't know if it's a body fat thing because I don't have a clue as to what the guy does. I couldn't tell you if he's a high carb guy, a low carb guy. I don't know anything about Eric in that sense. I know he's a science guy, like with the way that he trains. And finally we got a big guy who trains with like a scientific method. I don't say like the scientific method, but you know what I mean. Like he trains with like a science based approach because there's been that argument for so many
Mhm.
years about how like natural guys are science based and hand lifters do whatever they want. And I'm like, yes, not really what works, but
Okay, now this though, I've trained with Eric probably 3 times now, and they did a YouTube video. So what I want to tell people, go watch his YouTube video because Instagram is tricky because he's only showing a couple reps, right? He's
yeah,
not he's showing the pretty reps, but when you watch the full length video, he's starting off the set that way, and he's finishing off the set almost like a Brad Warren. Not that bad, but like once he hits, like we talked about Jay, once he hits mechanical failure, he pushes it. And in
rip
the
and rip.
video,
That was Brad Rose thing.
yeah. And what you also miss is in the video, he's doing more weight than me, and I'm a pretty strong bodybuilder. Obviously, I'm not accustomed to that form, so I'm not going to be as strong in that form. But
Yeah,
either way, he's doing more weight. He's doing the whole stack basically on everything. So even though it's science based, people think you have to pick one. People think science like you can do science based training in a way that's more intense, right? Like he's even though he's doing science based training, his focus is intensity, and as long as that's the focus, I don't even think it matters what you subscribe to. you know?
exactly. And that's the thing where these guys talk about form and blah, 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 but intensity and how well you break the muscle down. Like you can have a natural bodybuilder who has poor form, but he's got high intensity and he's got a good mind to muscle connection and he's breaking down the fibers. He's going to grow just as good as if he trained like Jeff Nippard. That's not a poke at Jeff. I like Jeff's training. Hell, I used to train similar to that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think that's the take home because Nick Walker does RP, which is it's not really a style of training. It's just you're training with good
RP,
form.
RP.
Or RP, that's like Mike Israel, but it's not a style of training. All it really means is that you're using full range of motion with perfect form, and you're limiting volume to match recovery. That's all that
Okay.
means. Yeah. So, and then he's like, okay, why are Nick and Janicki big, but Mike Israel Mike Israel isn't like because Mike doesn't train with the intensity they do. He doesn't have the genetics they do, but also Nick has grown up training with maximum intensity. So even if it looks like he's holding back, it's still very intense, right?
One thing
Same
I'm
with
going to knock Mike on, I like most of Mike's videos because he throws in that dull humor into it as well.
yeah.
But like, didn't he's the guy that had lipo done, right? I'm
Yeah,
just like,
man.
come on, man. Like, you're a fucking bodybuilder. If you're going to do that, don't tell people that you did it. Like, I
Yeah,
would
but
not want to own up to that.
you can't. I don't know. It's like you get lipo, and then now you have to take 6 weeks off the gym, and you look worse than you did before the lipo. Like what? What was the?
Well, the thing with
Is
the
body?
lipo is, like, I had a guy one time who he had it done, and I didn't know that he had this done. Um, he didn't tell me when we first got working together, and I like this guy. We still talk to this day, but he's not. He probably isn't going to compete anymore. But he would send me his check-in pictures, and the first half of the prep, like I saw upper body, and I'm like, okay, we are right on track. And then finally, when I saw like his lower half, I was like, wait a minute, they don't match. Like, what the fuck is going on here? And he told me like he had gotten lipo done on the midsection and then the lower, basically from the rib cage to like the top of his hips. He had lipo done on that. And that area, he can pretty much eat like an asshole and still have good abs. Unfortunately, when you're in a caloric surplus, the fat has to go somewhere. So it's going to go like if you eradicate all the adipose tissue on your stomach and get rid of the fat cells completely, well, if you get rid of the cells, they can't get bigger or smaller. They're gone. They're dead. But however, you're going to have fat on your legs, your chest, your arms, your face, your back. And those areas are going to get fatter at that point.
Well, I mean, so it could actually benefit in some
Let me
ways.
go get these guys real quick.
No, you good.
All right. Yeah, that's why I said just having the backyard and having the sliding door is easy for me because I just fenced in the yard and let them out when I need to.
Yeah, it helps a
The
lot.
only downside to people doing that is you really have to pay attention, man, because I have yet to ever do it, and I don't ever plan on making the mistake. But like Florida's hot, and if you leave a dog like a French bulldog outside for an extended period of time, they will overheat and die.
Oh shit! Yeah, you don't you don't want that. Yeah,
Yeah, one of
yeah.
my friends, he is divorced, and his daughter, I guess she hadn't seen her mother in a good bit. Her mother pulls in the driveway. He wasn't home, and the kid got excited that mommy's home, come to get her. She left his English bulldog out back, and the dog was outside. She forgot about him. 8 hours later, he comes home to find his dog, belly up and croaked
Holy shit!
because he
Yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
find any shade. I mean, he literally laid out there in the heat and stroked.
That's all bad. That's all
Yeah,
bad.
so I mean, he's got to be responsible with it. I mean, that's why I wouldn't let a kid, dog sit for me.
Yeah, yeah. They seem to do better in the cold. I've been watching these breeder channels with the kennels, and the ones that live East Coast in the cold, they're like, "Hey, I know it's pretty cold out here. You would think like they hate this, but they actually prefer it. But the ones that live in the hot climates, they have to keep them inside.
Yeah,
And we're talking about bullies as well. Bullies are
yeah,
they're more prone to overheating than especially the pockets, the smaller ones. You know,
yeah, of
the,
course. The Frenchies, I think, are probably one of the worst because they have that flat face, that
they do.
short snout.
Yeah, yeah. Or the exotics. I have a friend who does exotics, and they're mixed with Frenchies, right? But they're the really short, muscular ones. They kind of look like Frenchies and bully at the same time. He said that you can't walk them more than a couple blocks
Yeah,
out
oh
here,
no, I believe that.
which is crazy. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, they don't
but
have a lot of endurance.
no, yeah. So that's the hard. Like people love those kind of dogs, but at the same time, I like a dog that's kind of capable to a point. My limit is a pocket. A pocket is capable and compact. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Yeah. But anyways, we were talking about I forgot what we were talking about before you got up. I have horrible memory. No,
Shit, I
I'm feeling
forgot to
prep.
now. You got
Okay,
prep
all
brain, and I just have early stages of Alzheimer's.
right. All right, let me make sure we covered everything before. I feel like every time we get off, I'm like, we forgot to cover this, but I think we got it.
You normally throw
Oh,
a couple of questions. I don't know if you have any or not.
I haven't done questions for like months now. It's like I think I feel like I get so much into whatever we're talking about, I kind of just forget. But I thought this guy looks really good. He's Nigerian too as well. He lived out here in Cali. Um, I guess I got to see the back. Maybe his only thing I could think is maybe his back was soft. I
Is he
mean,
wasn't he coached by Oxygen at one point?
I think he still is. I think. Oh, wait, unless who's this? I think he still is. Last I checked, he was. I don't know who this is. Oh, I don't know who that is. But yeah, last I checked, he was being coached with like somebody from Dubai because
Yeah,
he's from Dubai. He was living in Dubai for a long time. He needs to be harder in this area, but he did USA's. You remember, right? He was, I think, third. I want to say third place. I thought he should have been. I thought he could have won USA's actually, but I think he was third.
I've been following the guy for a while. It's like I know who he is.
Oh, okay, okay.
I mean, I don't know if I follow maybe I follow him on Instagram or don't follow him on Instagram, but every time I see the photos, I always stop and take a look at this guy.
Yeah, he look. I think the reason maybe
Hang on, he won. Was it North America? Yeah, he won North
it
America
was
because I was
was
there.
yeah,
That's how I know this guy.
he won North Americans. What do you think he has to do to move up in the pro ranks?
A little harder conditioning from behind on the glutes and hamstrings, a little bit bigger back. I mean, if I'm being nitpicky here, I would probably even say this is going to sound odd to a lot of people. I'd probably say even a little bit more delts as well. Now, something's weird. Go back to that. Go back. One more. What's up with his glutes on that?
I was thinking the same shit.
Like, what the hell am I like? Okay.
Oh, I mean, he has big
Does he
glutes,
just have
but
that big of an ass?
I think so. His glutes look Photoshop. I didn't realize he had. Yeah, he has.
Yeah, there's
His,
some. I mean, that's not like injections. He's just. This may be
yeah,
the
big.
gayest thing I've ever said in my life, but he's got a big ass. Like, and he's
He
got a
does.
round
Yeah.
ass.
Like I think it might be too big actually.
Yeah, he definitely needs to. Like, if you look at that side shot, you can see a very quad and glute dominant leg, and not a lot of hamstring. So that would be another thing he needs to focus on is being able to make his hamstrings match.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's
kind of
going to be
crazy.
hard, especially because he's not a rookie. You know, it's not like he's got a year of lifting under his belt. He's got a lot of time. They actually look pretty good on that pose on the side chest. But
But yeah, that's true. I mean, it might be harder for him to get his glutes super dug out if his glutes are that big, man. Yeah, like you remember Ian's glutes were so big that they would be hard, but they wouldn't get the lines in them. But I mean, he has a really good physique, man. Really good physique.
yeah, I
I
saw him
like.
live and in person because he was a heavyweight at North Americans. Because I was there to help Brett, and
Oh,
it
okay, yeah.
was this guy, Chris
Knox.
Knox, and then
Uh-huh.
Brett. And I thought it was going to be between Brett and Chris for 1 and 2. And then this guy walks out, and I'm like, okay, fuck that. Like, I
Oh,
didn't
well,
know what to say. I was like, shit.
he was a super at USA's, and then he dropped some
Yeah, he
weight.
dropped to heavies and he got in shape.
Oh, if he was a heavy at USA's, he would have beat what's his name, the posing
No,
guy.
I think he was a super at USA's.
Yeah, no, he was. But I'm saying if he would have made heavies, he would have got his pro card at USA's because heavies was won by the what's the posing coach
Oh,
K K something. What's the thing?
KJ, yeah. But
He's the J, isn't he?
why the hell am I drawing a blank on him right now?
I'm John, but yeah,
It's Don Cardone's guy. I'll just say that. He trains at Dragon's
Sen-
Lair, KJ Center Stage.
Center
Now,
State,
I'm glad that I know someone's Instagram name and not their real name off the top of my head. It's terrible.
I don't know why it is. Yeah, it is. I'm drawing a blank.
Well,
His wife is the K and he's the J, so his name starts with the
yes.
J. I can't remember. I'm
Well,
sorry.
yeah, either he's the K or she's the J, but I don't remember which one. They make a good team, man, because like
They do.
she's pretty incredible herself, and she helps the
She
girls
looks
pose.
she looks insane. That girl looks
Yeah, she's
insane.
one of those girls that has like she has the bodybuilding frame, but still has the femininity to go with it.
Very
Joey
difficult.
Belt.
Joey Belt,
I don't
the
know
J.
why I was sitting there struggling to remember that.
So he's the J, and she's like Crystal. I think it's Crystal,
Yeah, Kristen or
and
Crystal.
we're both just as brain dead. But then when you remember some, then I remember some. I think it's okay, you got him. What's his name again? I'm sorry. Repeat one more
Joey
time.
Belt.
Joey Bell. Okay, got you. I think it's
Yeah, I saw him at
Crystal.
the USA's, and I was talking to Dom, and I guess I was talking too much, which is the typical Justin. And Joey was like, "Hey, I don't mean to interrupt you, Justin." He's like, "Dom, what do I eat, man?" I was like, "Yeah, don't worry." I was like, "I'm sorry, dude. Like, my bad. I'm not trying to fuck your prep up here.
Go
Maybe I
ahead,
should fuck
man.
your prep up because you're beating my guy right now."
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, man. Yeah, man. That's I'm gonna see. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I could get you out here for USA's, man. I would love to. I would love to hang, man. I would love to hang. It's always fun. It's always fun. I like getting everybody together. I like getting everybody together. You know.
That's
You
8.5 weeks, right?
I want to say 7.5 now. What are we on Tuesday? I want to say 7.5, but or 8.5. Yeah, 7.5.
Before. Hmm. Is it before Tampa?
Yeah, yeah. Oh wait. It might only be like a week, or it might be too close, right? Because Tampa is like 8 or 9 weeks.
Yeah.
It might
Eight
be.
and a half. Yeah, 8.5 to 9 weeks.
It might be kind of too close because it might literally be a week difference because Joe and Paul are gonna go over there.
Yeah,
How
they're going
far?
to come out here with me.
Like a week before.
Need to get with them and get their flights and like just see what they're doing and whatnot.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I told them they can come out anytime they want. If they want to come out 2 weeks out, that's fine too.
So it would probably work better the other way around. It would work better if I went to Tampa instead. If we hung out in Tampa, if anything, right? Because my show was first.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. So
so
you'll be done dieting.
I might I might go there instead.
We'll have to
Yeah.
plan
So
something for after the show because Tampa right now is going to be, from a business perspective, is going to be my biggest show because I've got like 6 or 7 guys in it.
yeah. Okay.
And that's as of right now. And I always end up picking up like a guy like 4 to 6 weeks out because he's had trouble with who knows what.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Right.
yeah, I don't even think I'm going to get to watch that show because it's a mix between pros and amateurs that I'm prepping. And the way that they did it last year was the amateurs went like the pros had a set time. Like you're going to go on at say 11 a.m. or 12 or whatever it is. I think they stopped the show for the pros to do their part, if I'm not mistaken. I have seen shows like that. So it's
The cow
like
did
if I've
that.
got amateurs competing and I've got pros competing, I'm going to put everybody on a schedule. And chances are the pros are going to be on stage and the amateurs are going to be in my room getting the last look or vice versa. So I'm probably not even going to be able to watch the show, which is fine because I'm not there for the entertainment. I'm there to work. But as
100%.
far as like doing anything after the show, Tampa's got a lot of options.
Yeah. 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 It was a couple years ago. I did the cow, and I had clients in it, and then people knew I was there. They're like, "Hey, who did you have winning?" I'm like, "Bro, I'm literally competing and coaching. I don't know what the fuck is going on with this."
Yeah, you know
I,
what's happening on stage.
like you would see it before me because you're gonna be online. And
Yeah.
you'll see it before I do. I don't know what's going on. They're right next to me, but I'm not. I can't see them. They're just next to me. You know.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
people always ask you what you think about the competition, but if you're doing the competition, you don't know. I mean,
No.
shit,
No.
every
No.
show I ever competed in, I thought I sucked and I was going to lose because I can't see what you're seeing from here. Like I looked around and I'm like, oh, everybody's pretty good.
Everybody else looks better. Yeah, like everybody else look. The fucking light heavies look bigger than you when you're when you're back there. You're like, oh
Yeah,
damn.
I think the only time I ever like felt bigger is probably when I'm standing beside like a middleweight, and that's just because I'm taller.
Yeah, yeah. So at no point have you ever done a show when you were like, oh man, I'm by far the best. This is gonna be a win.
Um, I don't want to say I've never taken any show for granted. Like I've
Okay.
never walked into a show and said, "This is fucking mine," and you're not getting it. Like I've never had that attitude because I am realistic because anyone can lose any day at any time if you're off, and sometimes you can be off within the last hour before a show. Something can
Yeah.
happen to change or shift that. I felt like going into when I won the Orlando Pro, I knew De La Rosa was going to be there, and I personally feel like the 2014 season of John De La Rosa was the best John we've ever seen to this day. He went on like 2 or 3 weeks later in Brazil, and it should have been between John and Lionel Bayecki winning that show, and they gave it to Kuklo. And I like Kuklo, but that was a gift. Like it is what it is, man. I got to call a spade when I see it.
He got a couple of
Um,
gifts.
he got a couple of them, yeah. And the thing is, he wasn't a bad bodybuilder. It's just
No.
he'd miss the mark sometimes, and they'd still go with him.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyways, I felt confident against everyone except John. But when I looked at John, I was like, I think I'm a little better, but I don't know. So like, I didn't walk in with 100% soul confidence. Then going to the Arnold, to be fair about it, I was confident I was beating Branch, but I wasn't 100% confident I was beating Dexter. I told myself I was going to beat Dexter, but deep down, it's like, can you really beat him? Uh, and obviously, we know how that panned out. Then when I did the Golden State, I knew if I was on, I was going to win that show because I knew Michael Lockett was my biggest competitor, and Michael did get second. And I knew to beat Michael, I had to be bigger. You're not going to really outcondition the guy. So, and I knew I was bigger. So as long as I can match him on conditioning, I'm going to get him. And that's what I had to bring to that show in order to win that show. So I did kind of feel like when I looked at myself Saturday, I did not feel confident Friday night, but when I woke up Saturday morning, I was like, you're going to win this.
Oh yeah, and you were also coaching yourself for that
Yeah.
show. Did you have anybody as a second set of eyes or no?
No.
Oh shit. Okay.
Bonnie was there and I didn't even let him see me.
Damn. No, like no friend or anything. Oh,
I had nobody even knew I was going to do that show until like, I didn't know I was going to do that show until I was like 5.5 weeks out. I wasn't supposed to do it.
And you would take check-ins like a client, or you would look in the mirror?
No, at this point in my life, I was living in Florida, so I was just using the mirror and the scale as my gauge.
Really?
So I would wake up in the morning, I'd get on the scale, and then I would I'd make my coffee, make my little morning concoction, and I would usually sit around for 15, 20 minutes so I could go to the bathroom, and then I would pose. And I'd pose, and then I would work on vacuums after the pose. And then I would have my first, then I would do cardio after that. And sometimes I do the cardio first and then pose, but I got them both done before I ever eat in the morning. And nobody ever looked at me for that show. Like literally nobody saw me without a shirt on for that show.
You didn't take a check-in pics for yourself? You would look in the mirror?
No, I didn't because, man, from 2006 to 2015, and one of the biggest regrets I have in my life, man, when I moved, I had a flash drive that I had every single check-in photo of my entire bodybuilding career, off-season and contest prep. I had them like sorted in folders, and I lost that damn flash drive when I moved. Like that was my life's work on that flash drive. Did not have them backed up anywhere else. That was the backup. So when I lived in Kentucky, because I like consistency with my own photos, and I like consistency with my clients' photos too. That way, like same distance from the camera, you're standing in the same spot, same lights, same camera, same cameraman. So when I was in Kentucky, I would literally drive, depending on, I moved several times. Depending on where I was at, I would actually drive to my mom and dad's house first thing in the morning. And if it's 20, 25 minute, 30-minute drive, didn't care. 45-minute drive, didn't care. I would drive there on a check-in day, and I would have my mom take my photos of me because I'd been doing it that way since I was a kid. But that way I'm comparing. I have a very, very clear, accurate comparison. Like I've been using the same set of lights, same camera, same everything. So I knew, and then I would go back and I would look and say, okay, well, here's where you were like 6 weeks out for this show. This is how you were looking. This is what you were doing. And then I used that information and I just was able to put together my own plans at that point. But when I moved to Florida, it was very hard for me in my first house to get good lighting. Like every set of photos I took, I'm like, you look like shit, man. I just hated how I looked in the pictures. And that obviously created a secondary issue because my ex I think she wanted to see me succeed, but I don't think she was really I know she wasn't really into bodybuilding, which is fine. But when I would say, hey, can I see the pictures? I look at them. I'm like, no. I need to redo this. I need to redo that. And I could see she's getting highly frustrated because she just thought snap, snap, snap and good to go. Because she did powerlifting. So for her, all you had to do was video her lift. And she didn't give a shit what angle it was at. It was fine. But like me, I want to see the right lighting because, like the right lighting can make you look like you're 8 weeks out or 2 weeks out.
Yeah,
so
very specific.
I got to the point where I was like, you know what? Screw the pictures. You've been doing this shit a long time. I was like, use the scale, use the mirror, and using the mirror that much forced me to pose a lot more, which in turn served me in a good way because when I got on stage, I wasn't struggling to hit the poses and, wasn't sweating my ass off up there. I was able to hit them nice and good or hit the poses nice and smooth and smile while I'm doing it and not be sweating.
Okay. Yeah. That's really impressive. I mean,
and I had apps on my phone as well, where there was an app back then, and I don't have this app now. So if anybody's asking, I can't help you out with it. But you could set intervals. So what I would do is I would set a 10-second, it's a timer. So we go 10 seconds and then 4 seconds, then 10 seconds, then 4 seconds. So what I was doing was the 10 seconds was for me to hold the pose. And when it would ding, I had 4 seconds to set up the next pose. Get your ass together, get into that next pose. And when you hear that ding, hold it for 10 seconds. When you hear the next ding, transition. And I had a little routine for myself every single morning. You know, it's quite boring to the average person, but that's how I won shows.
That's fire, man. That's fire. I guess for me, I like to take the check-ins just to have a record. That's about it. But I guess I don't need. Nah, I think for me, I do want to see, because you know, for my back, I really got to take a look at my back condition. Well, for you were pretty even condition wise.
Yeah, I think I was like, I knew if my front side was on, my back side was on too. But also, like, as far as like me checking my conditioning, I would basically set like the back double bicep with my legs, and then I would kind of turn and I would look into the mirror, and I'm just seeing like, is the hamstrings there? Is the glutes there? And sometimes I would even take a selfie, like holding the camera like over my shoulder, and I would take a selfie of it. And I'm like, okay, better than 2 days ago, so we're on the right track. Like that's how I coached myself for that.
Between the scale and that, you would see enough.
That's between the scale, the mirrors, and like very horrible quality selfies.
That's dope, man. It actually sounds fun, man. The way you did it actually sounds fun. I feel like
It was to me. Like I enjoyed it. It was like a little brain challenge every day.
It's like a challenge. Yeah. It's like a challenge. Well, it's like coaching a really good client could be fun, and then you're a really good client for yourself, right? Yeah. So that's kind of what it's like.
And there was a few times that I was kind of like, damn, do I hold back? Do I push harder? There was more than a few times that I second guessed myself, like on the first prep that I did. But thankfully, on the first prep that I did by myself for the 2014 Orlando, the girl that I was seeing at that time, she later went on to become a bodybuilding judge. So she knew exactly what she was looking at. So I would get some pointers from her as well. Be like, hey, you know, you're flat, you're fat, you know, this pose sucks, or she would always cut it to me pretty straight.
Okay, so that works as well.
That helped, yeah. It helped because she understood what I was doing, and she understood my goals, and she supported that.
Exactly. Okay. Well, Compton, I know I just ate before this, but I'm actually getting really hungry again.
All right, no worries, man. I got a few check-ins to do, and that's pretty much it for the night for me.
Nice catching up, man. We got to do it. You're one of the most people ask about the coaching corner, but probably the most at this point. You know, because the regular podcast is not informative. We're kind of bullshitting, right? Which is fun, but
the Fit Nation podcast.
Yeah, we just talk nonsense, and then me and PJ is even worse. We talk all the shit that you shouldn't talk about.
Is it PJ Braun, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know the other PJs, but I didn't know if you remember that close or not. I need to go see him, man. Like he's only like 45 minutes an hour from me, and I'm just never down that way.
Yeah, you guys are like the same and opposite at the same time. Like at your core, you're very similar people. But like you're more, not in a bad way, but you're like more of a mature version of him.
See, I haven't spent enough time around him to know if he's mature or not mature.
Yeah,
I spent time with PJ. It was minimal time as well. It was always positive. I've never never seen PJ even even when he went through all the legal stuff, he kept a very like positive attitude about it all. Like he's kept smiling and went on. But like I said, I didn't know him prior to that. I knew him when he was with Aaron, but like that's when him and Aaron was making money so fast they were spending it foolishly, which probably led to their demise a little bit as well. But you know, I feel like they both have matured and grew up since then.
I mean, it sounds crazy, but going to jail has positively impacted both of them. I think they're both way better men than they were before.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I take that's a lot. I was going to say I don't know anyone who's went to jail and they came out worse, but I do know a few. For the most part, if they're a good person and just made a mistake, or
boom, you said it.
they got a good heart, they go to it'll harden you a little bit. Like you're not going to be as probably not be as giggly and chatty and all that stuff. It does kind of jade you a little bit in life, but it could be for a good thing.
You gain really good perspective and insight. Just talking to him, I see it. And Aaron did a podcast with Jay Cutler, and Aaron he used to have I don't know him personally, but from watching him, he used to have like a certain shallowness to him, and like maybe not a lot of empathy, kind of more like a machine. And he seemed like he gained a lot of perspective and empathy and understanding. And then with PJ, it's like he still has that sense of humor and like kind of like not taking things too serious, but he gained a level of like insight and maturity that I think is really beneficial. And I think they're way better people for it. So everything happened. The worst thing in your life can happen that this is like, I don't even want to be alive anymore. And then fast forward 5 years from now, it made you so much better, which is just how it works. That's life. So, all right, Justin. I want to try to get you back on at least twice a month or more if possible.
Yeah, just let me know. It's like shoot me a message like a day or two in advance. That's all I need.
All right, brother. You already know, man.
All right, man. I'll catch you soon.